WTWE wrestler, The Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends at Rent a Race Car, you can!
Visit www.rentaracecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
Racing action on Tim's Corner Motorsports is presented by Pache Motors, the largest Ram truck dealer in Atlantic Canada. Browse their inventory online at pachemotors.com. Tranquility. Help for anxiety is only a click away. Learn more by visiting tranquility.app. Finish Line Vinyl Design, the official decal supplier of Tim's Corner Motorsports. Like them on Facebook at facebook.com/finishline vinyl design. And by CB Warren's Auto Care.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Vidane TV here, Thursday Night Racing with the NEPS crew, the New England, Pennsylvania, easy enough for me to say, New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group, the Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series visits Lucas Oil Spit Raceway for the Kemba the Dog 75. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. here in the commentary booth / production trailer, and joined by my side here, Tim Terry. Tim, how are we doing here this evening?
Looking forward to some great short track racing here at Lucas Oil Raceway. Indianapolis always puts on a great show, and we've got 21 cars getting ready to take the green flag.
Taking a look right now, Ryan Bibby, the points leader, up in the pole position currently. Brent Roy found the 6th. The 26 car currently scored a P2. John Peters is scored in that third position right now. Still about 3.5 minutes left in qualifying. And tonight's sponsor, Kemba the Dog 75. Now, when I got the notes a few weeks ago, I figured that Kemba the Dog may very well have been the champ John Peters' dog, but it's because he's really the only driver that actually thanks his dog after every interview. But it actually wasn't. It was Kyle Casagrande's dog that actually ponied up the 3 weeks of allowance money, and it was pretty cool to see that. I actually asked league official Corey Casagrande what the deal was with that, and he says, well, to be fair, Kyle doesn't really get too many interviews on Vidane TV, so I figure maybe we'll talk to him here. Kyle, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. That wasn't very nice of him.
Blistering qualifying effort. Looks like you're P14 right there on the board here. You got anything for these guys here tonight?
Oh, I didn't realize there's an update before the race today, so I got about one lap of practice in. Thought I was going to miss the own race my dog sponsored. It would have been a tough look. But we'll see what happens. Corey's on the inside. He'll probably wreck early, so hopefully I can get around that. And we'll see where it goes from there.
Hey, a free position is a position nonetheless. Now, I do have to ask, what kind of chores does a dog have to be able to pay for one of these races?
Well, he keeps my arm fresh from throwing the ball with him all the time, so keep that strength up and work the core, work the arm strength. So he's a good boy for that.
Awesome. And lining them up on the grid here, getting ready to do some green flag racing. We'll move you back into the team channel. Team Maine, Team North Carolina. We're going to take a guess and hope it's Team North Carolina. Lining them up on the grid right now. You can see these drivers down on pit road. Going to be an exciting 75-lapper here at Lucas Oil Raceway. Just waiting for the timing and scoring to get its head out of its rear end and get that updated. But there you can see up front, Ryan Libby and Brent Roy going to make up the front row. And there's the champ, the 51, John Peters, going to be starting on the inside of row number 2.
Yeah, considering the last couple of weeks, John Peters has had a couple of stumbles, was able to get a couple of points back the last time that we raced at Oxford and picked up the big win, and now 18 points in behind Ryan Libby, but Libby starting in front of him. So he's going to have a little bit of work to do. Kenny Kibbe, third in points, will start position number 7 this evening. In behind that row with Dylan Kopech and Zane Farrell, Brandon Uhouse, Jason Ricker, and Anthony Aiello. Great qualifying run for the 31, rounds out the top 10.
Lots of big names here. These guys always put on a hell of a show, and this is actually going to be the second race of the RDA Trilogy Challenge. It ends next week at Japs. Not sure what that means, but I'm sure we'll get Corey up here to explain his shorthand, because unfortunately he and I don't really take the same notes, but big time shout out to RDA and those folks putting a little bit of bonus money on the line for these drivers, and it's always really exciting to get that, especially when these drivers are out here doing what they love to do, and that's turn laps and entertain the masses here on Vidane TV. Thank you everybody for tuning in here tonight on Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube. Everybody that gave us a shout out over on the Twitter as well. We're getting good at that. Oh, I wouldn't call it good, but we're starting to figure out how Twitter works, so very excited about that as well. And getting ready to take the green flag. The lights already off on the pace truck. The iRacing pace truck getting ready to take that left-hand turn down pit road. Let these drivers do battle here for 75 laps at ORP.
Yeah, Paul, this racetrack's very wide. It's conducive to these ARCA National cars, these old Grand National cars, to get some good racing in. We're going to see some leaning into each other. We're going to see some paint swapping, vinyl swapping, short track racing with 21 cars ready to take the green point leader. Ryan Libby and Brent Roy, great qualifying effort once again this week after a top 5 effort last week at the Oxford Plains Speedway. Here comes the field. Pace truck is down. And Ryan Libby going to lead this field to green. 75 laps here this evening for the NEPS Grand National Division, presented by Shift Marketing and Design. Green flag is out. We're underway.
Flag man getting all of that flag that he can. Everybody thunders down to turn number 1. Ryan Libby, Bibby as he's been known, because he got rid of that L, switched it over to a B, has the lead currently, moves up to that high tide to block the 26 of Brent Roy, and Brent kind of falls into his tire tracks. I noticed in qualifying here, Tim, a lot of these drivers seem to prefer that high line here at ORP, so definitely going to be something to behold here. A lot of times with these short tracks, we see drivers try and get down there. You can see John Peters trying to slide up in behind that number 56 machine of Evan Bullier. So great start so far. Everybody up front, single file. There you see Dylan Kopech getting around Zany. Zany looks like he may have scraped that wall just a little bit in that number 14 ride.
Yeah, he caught at the end of the shot there. The 15 at Kenny Kibbe got into the wall on lap number 1, lost a couple of positions. He's going to have to try to make them back. He is scored in position number 9 as we continue to work around here. Actually, 10th is a work around behind Anthony Aiello. Aiello made up a position. Wyatt Alexander in behind him. Had a great run at Oxford last week. Last time we were here with the Grand National Series. And just knocking on the door of the top 10 as they battle side by side. That's Corey Casagrande to the inside.
New paint scheme, new colors it looks like for Corey Casagrande. That Mystique black, blue, and white 52 machine. Good looking ride there. Moves himself in a 12th position so far. Trying to get around Wyatt Alexander for 11th and move a little bit closer to that top 10. See what he can do there. We can actually take a look. Kyle Casagrande off the pace, pointed in the wrong direction. He's down there waving at the, he must have left his dog down there with some fans hanging out. Kemba over there sponsoring tonight's race after saving up 3 weeks worth of allowance. But he gets it going, gets it pointed in the right direction. We stay green. Up front still Ryan Bibby by about half a second over Brent Roy in the number 26 car.
And the battle is for second. Evan Boiler on the back bumper, the 51 of John Peters there as well. And Dylan Kopech, not a bad run so far early. Position number 5, qualified in position number 5 and chasing down this battle for position number 2. Roy comes up at a corner number 2, trying to chase down Ryan Libby in front of him. Libby trying to pull away from the rest of this field. They'll complete lap number 6 this time by, and your point leader trying to build that comfortable lead.
Absolutely, making it look easy right now, and you can see everybody just pretty much lined up, single file up towards the high line, trying to see where everybody's a little bit stronger. Lap number 7 of 75. This race may very well click off very, very quickly here, as a lot of these drivers got a lot of practice in. We did have an iRacing update, so a couple of minute changes to the service, but doesn't seem like too much has changed with the NEPS racing. Good, clean racing all the way around. A little bit of a stern message from Zane, one of the race officials here, before the race in the driver's meeting, letting everybody know that the intentional wrecking and the nonsense and not paying attention under caution will not be tolerated. So a lot of these drivers minding their P's and Q's. It looks like caution out on the speedway. Take a look. 64, Michael Bennett pointed in the wrong direction, and that may very well be what brought out caution number 1 here at ORP, and the Kemba the Dog is 75.
Yeah, it looks like he had a little bit of hard racing, Paul. Cue up that Raise Energy Drink instant replay. What happened to the Duraloop car?
Oh, you can see the Duraloop car's down on the low side, and the camera angle changed up on us down low on the number 54, Scott McDonald. They kind of take a look at the same piece of real estate, and unfortunately 2 cars can't be in the same spot at the same time. So big time nose damage for the number 64, the Duralube car there for Michael Bennett. Gonna have to come down pit road. I believe they get 1 quick fast repair, so he's gonna be using that early. Not gonna be able to use it and save it for later on in the race, as a lot of these drivers like to do. But Raise Energy bringing us the instant replay. Check out repsports.com, REPP sports.com. Use promo code Vidane TV at checkout for 15% off. They got some awesome stuff over there, Tim. They got the energy drinks, which are very flavorful. They just announced their 11th different flavor. They got the sleep aids that you can take. They got the melatonin in them. You take them a half hour before night's time, and you get yourself a good solid 8 hours of sleep. And, man, I've tried that a couple of times, and it's actually worked very, very well. A lot of protein powder and workout supplements as well. Once in a blue moon, I like to work out. I used to be in really good shape, but not so much anymore. But definitely check that stuff out. Repsports.com, promo code Vidane TV.
So for the first time this evening, we find ourselves under the caution flag. Ryan Libby continues to lead, and looking at the point standings with 6 races to go after this evening, and with the way the points are structured, the top 2 positions get 2 more points than the rest, and then third on back drops by 1 point per position. So 18 points might not seem like a whole lot, but over the next, what would include tonight being 7 races, if you're John Peters, you have to start clicking away and start chipping away at that point lead. Peters right now runs in position number 4, so there's 5 points towards Ryan Libby if he can stay up there and maintain that. And Kenny Kibbe had his little slide earlier. He's back to position number 11. He sits 3rd in the point standings. He's got a comfortable 29-point advantage on Evan Boiler, but still plenty of racing to go and some diverse racetracks coming up at the end of this season too. We go from here to Motegi, we go to Myrtle Beach, Sonoma, Auto Club, Irwindale, and Dover to close off this season. So still plenty of racing to go, but if you're looking for that long run mentality, that points picture, Ryan Libby up in front, looking pretty good, but we've seen some of these races come down to late race cautions. We'll see how this transpires at Indianapolis as we come by. This time we should have the one to go.
Single file, giving these drivers an opportunity to think what they're going to do here. Lap number 12, check that, lap 13 in the books of a lap 75. And one thing to keep in mind, Tim, tomorrow night they kick back off race number 2, the NEPS Super Truck Series. Big team-oriented deal. There's 6 teams of 4 drivers. You saw the draft here on Vidane TV back in December. You got to wonder, is that going to take some of the focus off this Grand National Series? A lot of these drivers come out and they practice, and some of these races are 2 races a week. We run Monday, Thursday sometimes with the NEPS Grand National Series, brought to you by Shift Marketing and Design. So with the Super Trucks kicking up, you got to wonder if that's going to affect some of the drivers a little bit.
I think these drivers, especially those up in front, will be focused on at least both as the green flag flies. We are back underway with Ryan Libby on the hammer. Chose the outside on this restart. Paul, you mentioned that outside line being the place to be, and Libby has taken that upside. Brent Roy finds his way into second, and now John Peters trying to high side Evan Boiler for position number 3, and Dylan Kopech trying to occupy that line. 56 slides in the line to position number 4, and here comes Kopech looking to the inside.
Dipping down low, trying to make it side by side. We saw that it didn't really seem to work too much on that bottom side, but everybody trying to work on the high side there. You can see Zane trying to move up into the top 5. Took a peek down low, but he knows he wants to be up high. Just kidding. He's going to shoot down low, try and get underneath the 09 of Dylan Kopech.
You look back to the 14 of Zane Farrell as he tries to pick up a position as well, move himself into the top 5. Top 10 or so single file. You can start to see Kopech work that inside line again on the 56 of Boiler, trying to get to that lower rear quarter, that left rear quarter, as is John Peters on Brent Roy. They battle for position number 2. Some great racing up in front as we get a couple laps in after that green flag flew on that restart. 16 completed here.
There you can see John Peters dipping down low on Brent Roy, door to door, coming out of the corner, and just bobbles just a little bit. The 51 does down low. He's not able to hold off that position. Brent Roy holding on to that P2 spot for now, but there you can see John Peters taking another shot at him. Does a really good job. He doesn't get up into Brent at all. He doesn't get up and ruffle his feathers at all. He's just trying to make the track as wide as he possibly can. You notice he's not down by the apron. He's trying to get as high as he can, but still be underneath Brent. So it's taking a little bit of finesse. If anybody can make that pass happen on the low side, it'll definitely be the champ, John Peters.
And as they battle, it's Ryan Libby out by about a half second over this battle for position number 2. And then in behind, they're kind of starting to stack up in behind the number 26 car. You got Boiler, you got Kopech, who just smacked the wall at a corner number 2. He's going to lose a little bit of ground, try to get swallowed up by Zane Farrell. And then Jason Ricker starting to make his way into the picture as well, the driver from Maine, sitting in position number 7. So he's had a good run so far, up a couple spots from 9th when he started.
The Aubuchon number 9 ride moving his way on up, 7th place. There you can see behind him the Mystique car, the 52 Corey Casagrande. He's moved himself up into 8th. Brandon Newhouse 9th, and Anthony Aiello currently rounding out the top 10. But that 10th position under fire right now from the number 15 of Kenny Kibbe, and Wyatt Alexander just a little bit further back, trying to kind of bide his time a little bit, but he's got Charles Lewandowski in the 01 and Michael Hopkins there in the 78 trying to gather that 11th place position up as well. So lots of racing all the way throughout the track. Ryan Bibby up front still by almost a full second that last time by the battle. Still for second, Brent Roy holding on to it. John Peters all over the back bumper of that 26 machine.
Yeah, Peters has been trying to get that car to cut about a half groove to a full groove down underneath that 26, but Brent Roy just has enough of that groove in position number 2 to keep that spot away and stop that little momentum from John Peters. Evan Boiler has caught this group. Dylan Kopech, after his little slap at the wall off turn 2 5 laps ago, has reeled back in the 56 of Boiler, and Zane Farrell trying to keep them honest back there from position number 6. You can see it right there. The 51, middle of the corner, gets that cut, just can't do anything with it off. Brent Roy has that run off the corner and down these straightaways in order to keep that position locked in for the 26. 51 just needs to be able to get that run off, but with the 26 here, he can't do it.
Yeah, it's really tough. You'll notice he gets a really, really good corner entry, the 51 does, on Brent, but Brent stays up towards that wall, and Peters just isn't able to capitalize on that position, not able to make that corner off, as you made mention. But I do want to take a quick moment here just to give a quick shout-out. I'm not going to mention any company names, but I do want to give a shout-out to a couple of Region 046 guys that are out there watching. Be sure to pick up your Angry Tree Guys sweatshirts, Vidane.net/shop. And there's also a little something there as the 26 gets big time loose, big wiggle from the back end of that 26 car. Gathers it back up, no harm, no foul, but that gives an opportunity to John Peters to kind of close in. But want to give those guys a shout out. See a couple of guys shared the stream over there on Facebook, and want to give a shout out to the regulars as well. I know Lacey's out there watching, cheering for Zany, probably popping a couple of Trulies and kicking back, watching some NEPS action here live on Vidane TV. Give us a shout out in the chat if you're watching. Let us know where you're watching from, and let us know what your home track is in real life, and let us know which driver you think is going to come home with the victory here tonight in the Kemba the Dog 75.
Peters was able to get that thing to cut through 3 and 4, was to the door of Brent Roy, but couldn't get that run off to get that grip and get that position away from Brent Roy. Now trying to get back to that inside. Kopech slaps the wall off too that last time by. Loses a little bit of ground. Zane Farrell is there as well. And the Mystic number 52 of Casagrande trying to reel them in from position number 7. But you look through these speed shots, Paul, there's not a whole lot of action within the top 10. Besides that battle for second, John Peters continuing to hound the back bumper of the 26.
Yeah, he's been there all race long. Lap number 28 in the books, working lap number 29. And you can see he's weaving back and forth. Peters is all over the back bumper of the 26, but now he's under attack from the number 56 machine, who's trying to do the very same thing. Trying to get low, trying to get underneath of the 51 to see if he can get there. There you see Kopech in the wall again. He's not going to have a right side left to that car if he keeps doing that. Zaney all over the back bumper now of the 09 in that 14 machine. He's trying to make a capitalize. You can see the 09 very much out of shape. Very, very loose coming out of the corner of 4 there, Tim.
Zane Farrell trying to get that position away from the 09 of Dylan Kopech, and now what was a battle for second, that was 5 cars, is now a battle for position number 5, and you can try to see that 09 reel in. There's the front bumper of John Peters all over the back of Brent Roy's car, the 56 of Evan Boiler right in behind, and the 26 of Brent Roy, kind of an adopted teammate to Team Maine, and he's got a whole mirror full of his teammates, per se, with John Peters and Evan Boiler. I don't know if John's cut him a little bit of slack. If it was somebody else, maybe he'd drive a little bit harder, maybe use him up just a little bit, but there's a lot of respect being shown by these second, third, and fourth place cars, about 2.5 seconds behind Ryan Libby.
Absolutely, and you saw it there, almost an instinct move for the 51. He got a little bit of a run coming out of the corner, about halfway down the front stretch, and he dipped down low to try and take a quick peek at the 26 and said, nope, I'm going to tuck right back in the tire track. So maybe he's waiting for the 26 to make a mistake, and there it is. The 26 up into the wall, gets himself held back just a little bit. Now door to door at the stripe. John Peters still down low, trying to get around that 26 machine, still not able to do it. Really goes to show you, Tim, how strong that top side is. Door to door heading into turn number 3, and the 56 is there as well, waiting for these guys to make some contact, make some sort of mistake. 51 versus 26, P2 on the line.
Yeah, you're able to put so much power down on that outside line, like right there at a corner number 4. Brent Roy going to maintain position number 2 as we inch closer towards that halfway point. And, you know, you think in the back of your mind, if this thing does go green, you look at the 51 of John Peters going to the inside line, might be using those right side tires just a little bit more than Brent Roy is on that outside line as they chase them down. Brent might be mirror driving a little bit there through 3 and 4. He saw that 51 try to make that move, kind of block that move, but that move hasn't worked for the 51. These last few laps by, try to go to the inside, try to make it cut, but just can't get that run off. Evan Boiler a little sideways in behind those two. Peters has that nose to the inside. How hard does he drive it down into 3 and 4? He's to the door, but that's about all it is as they come out of corner number 4, 35 laps complete.
Brent Roy really able to lay the hammer down coming out of these corners and able to hold on to that second position. Taking a look at the leader right now, Ryan Libby is gone. 3.5 second lead over Brent Roy right now, and he's looking in his mirror. He's not even seeing anybody. He is a long ways away right now. So the battle right now for second, Brent Roy has it. John Peters wants it. Evan Boiler wants a piece of the action as well. You see him taking a peek down low on the number 51 machine. No advancement there, so he backs up into the tire tracks. He's going to try it one more again.
And these 5 cars have about a half second or so, 5 or 6 car lengths back to Corey Casagrande, and actually it might be a little closer to a second, back to the Mystic number 52. So while these drivers are battling, you might be thinking, hey, they're losing time to the leader. Are they losing time to the cars behind? The answer, realistically right now, is no. Casagrande is about a second or so behind in consistent laps with these drivers in front of him. Boiler tried that move to the inside. John Peters said, why not? Took a look to the inside, down the back straightaway, but nothing doing there for that battle for position number 2. Roy continues to occupy that spot as we come by. Lap number 38 clicked off the board. We're halfway.
Tim, John Peters is hungry. Every single time they go down the front stretch, you can see, taking another look at the inside here, he swings that car down to the left side of the racetrack, tries to take a peek on the inside. There you can see 56 gives him just a little bit of a nudge there, and you can see in the back, Kopech starting to close in a little bit. Caution comes out. That's going to give that position to John Peters, I believe, as he was just out in front of Brent Roy by a couple of inches there. And we'll take a look towards the back of the pack, see if we can find out why it is we're under caution here for the second time of the evening.
It's going to be the 64 of Michael Bennett one more time, and he had a little bit of contact with David Arute to bring out the yellow flag. So that'll bring out the caution flag for the second time, just past the halfway point. We'll take a look at that Raise Energy replay.
Lots of hard racing throughout the field here. Taking a look, 64, Michael Bennett. There you can see the 15 is in front there. There's the 12 car as well of David Arute. And it looks like the David Arute machine kind of comes up just a little bit. The 64 may have came down a little bit because he had a couple of cars on the outside. Kind of a lazy spin, a little bit of a tap there to the inside wall for David Arute on the inside, but nothing too crazy. And it's actually looking like, Tim, we got a whole bunch of cars, almost the entire field, down on pit road.
And it looks like at least your top four came out the way that they came in. John Peters going to come in behind Ryan Libby, and in behind Brent Roy and Evan Boiler. I think if I was Brent Roy, I might have waited about a half second or so, burp the throttle a little bit, let Evan Boiler get that outside, or the third place spot to start on the inside and him to start on the outside. That's given that Ryan Libby takes the outside, and I think with the way this race has gone, he probably will on this restart. But now it's going to be something different with John Peters going to start on the front row with Brent Roy. He has no lane choice. He's going to start on the inside of row number 2 with Evan Boiler to the outside of row number 2.
Yeah, just taking a quick look at the timing and scoring, it looked like Shinosky stayed out to lead himself a lap, and that gave the lead over to Ryan Libby. Looks like we have pretty much where we left off. Ryan Libby leading, John Peters second, Brent Roy third, Evan Boiler fourth, and Dylan Kopech rounding out the top 5. Zane Farrell in 6th, Corey Casagrande 7th. John Ricker, haven't talked about him too much in the 9 car. He's going to be 8th. Matt Shinosky, there you see him in 9th, and 10th is going to go to Anthony Aiello.
And looking at the front of this field, we have a couple of wave-around cars, and it includes the 15 of Kenny Kibbe. We talked about Kenny being so consistent in this season, running 3rd in the point standings. This is definitely not going to help him with the top 2 in points, running in 1st and 2nd. He'll get the wave around when we go 1 to go, and he should start about 17th there when we go green next time by. So keep an eye on the 15. It hasn't been an easy night for Kenny Kibbe, but we'll see if he can gain some positions here and try to maintain position number 3 in points. Oh, by the way, 29 points back is Evan Boiler. Boiler runs in position number 4, so he has an opportunity to pick up some points here at Indy.
Absolutely. You take a look right now, Tim. It's we saw how the high line works compared to the low line. Libby up top, John Peters down below. The 56 of Evan Boiler up top, Brent Roy down on the inside of the 2nd row. And there you see Zane Farrell on the outside of the 3rd row. May be a very good restart for the 14 machine with Kopech down on the inside. Green flag in the air. The 46 is going to thunder on down to turn number 1. Already has 3, 4, 5 car lengths. Battle right now for 2nd is going to be John Peters and Evan Boiler.
Great battle for position number 2. Boiler on the outside, going to try to take it away from John Peters. We saw John go to that inside line and work that inside line for many laps on Brent Roy, and now the 09 of Dylan Kopech has to work the inside of the 26, and he'll give up the ghost, let the 26 take the spot. Here comes Zane Farrell in behind, so we got a couple of 2-car battles for position, led up by this battle for position number 2, Boiler, the Hancock Lumber, number 56, trying to take it away from the 51.
51 in the same spot that Brent Roy was in a little bit ago. And there you can see Brent Roy up on the high side. He's going to try and get around the champ, the 51 of John Peters. But he's also going to have to get around the 56, who is there as well on that top side. Evan Boiler currently holding on to that 2nd position. John Peters wants it. Brent Roy wants it. Brent tags the wall a little bit, comes down right in front of Dylan Kopech. They both go down on the lower side of the racetrack. No harm, no foul, but that's going to lose a position there to the 09 from Dylan Kopech. It looks like Zane Farrell, the number 14, going to come on around on the high side and give the advantage to the 14 cars. Everybody wants to be on that high side. Dylan Kopech still driving as hard as he can, trying to hold on to that position. The 14 loses the back end just a little bit, but I think this coming out of this corner here, give it to the 14 car. That's that high side is just extra strong here tonight.
But on cold tires, the cars are a little bit loose with the full fuel load in these race cars when it comes to this setup. So you saw it with Brent Roy. You saw it with Dylan Kopech there a couple of times. You saw it with Zane Farrell trying to make sure that thing doesn't tank slap the wall. couple laps in and we saw the green flag run that we had. These cars will handle just a wee bit better, but for the first 5 laps or so, they're kind of tiptoeing around this racetrack, except if you're Ryan Libby. You're way out in front of the field, 0.6 of a second, just a few laps after a restart. Boiler still in second, and the 51 of John Peters, hot on the heels, doing the same thing he did on the last run, trying to take second place away.
Same song and dance there for John Peters, but a different dancing partner in that second position. Evan Bollier has that second spot in the 56 car, and almost the exact same thing in the last green flag run here, Tim. He's trying to get low. He's trying to cut that bottom side, trying to cut the racetrack in half just a little bit, but to no avail. There you can see Brent Roy is back in that 4th position, and a new 5th place car, Zane Farrell, the number 14, has moved up. But don't look now, Corey Casagrande in that 52 machine, starting to work his way up towards the front.
And Casagrande looking to pick up a couple of more spots here, move himself into the top 5, passing Dylan Kopech and working his way up to Zane Farrell and Brent Roy in front of him as they continue to dance. The 64 of Bennett now a lap down as he'll go in behind these leaders. Tough break for the Duraloop number 64. Battle continues on for position number 2, though, as John Peters hot on that trail, trying to get to the inside. Look at this thing, the way it cuts in the middle of the corner, but can't get the run off. Boiler is going to be able to sprint down the back straightaway.
Absolutely crazy battle here for second. You can see they're actually starting to gain just a little bit of ground on the leader, but not a whole lot. Still an 0.8 of a second. Check that. It's a full second now. Full second lead there for Ryan Libby, but you can still throw a rope out to him and try and catch that back bumper. But you can see John Peters really trying to get around that number 56 machine, giving a lot of pressure to the back bumper, trying to get him to look up in that mirror and maybe make a mistake and get up in that wall and maybe not tear the race car up, but take his focus away for just a half a second, because that's really all it's going to take here at ORP to kind of mess up the driving style that you've got here, Tim.
It's the bump and run that might need to be used, but it's more of a lean and kind of shove him out of the way, just enough to get him into the fence and lose that momentum. But you got to get to him first. John Peters got about a car length to catch Evan Boiler for position number 2. The 2 drivers from Maine battling it out for the runner-up spot, and laps are clicking away. They'll come by this time and see 56 laps completed. They'll have 19 laps to go when they come back to the stripe. Ryan Libby continues to lead, and no pun intended, walking the dog on this field.
Walking the dog here in the Kemba the Dog 75. Kyle Casagrande's dog ponying up 3 weeks worth of allowance. We learned that little tidbit of information from the NEPS Sportsbook account over on Twitter. If you're looking to get entertained throughout the week while you're waiting for these NEPS guys to go racing, absolutely go over and check them out on Twitter, the NEPS Sportsbook account, because man, yeah, I thought I knew how to trash talk, especially hanging out with the Rent a Race Car crowd. Those guys know how to trash talk, and they do it very, very well. So good, clean family fun. Check them out over on Twitter, the NEPS Sportsbook account.
This battle for second continues on. John Peters, a lap ago or so, kind of lost the nose going down into that middle groove and trying to pick up some time, but he's losing time. He's now about 2 car lengths back from the 56 of Boiler. Boiler trying to pull away and trying to gain some time on your leader. And you know what? The last time by, both Ryan and Evan were about 23:20s on the stopwatch. So mirroring the times right now, but for the most part, you look back through this field, there's not a whole lot of side-by-side battles, not a whole lot of close battles throughout, or at least close enough to throw a bumper down into the corner or so. The driver, I think, that's on the move, we talked about him earlier. Kenny Kibbe is back up to position number 13. Haven't talked a whole lot about Brandon Uhouse all night long, but Uhouse in the Little Trees, number 61, trying to defend 12th place.
There you can see the battle between the 61 of Brandon Uhouse, number 15 of Kenny Kibbe. Those guys battling it out for the 12th position, and almost the same thing as we're seeing for the second position. The guy up front running all the way up by the wall, and the guy behind him trying to cut the racetrack just a little bit, trying to get down low and see if he can't get a run maybe make that car up in front get a little bit of out of shape up into the wall like the 61 did there. And there you can see a textbook pass here at ORP on the bottom side. 61 Brandon Newhouse in the wall again. No major damage, but he scrapes the wall enough to slow him down just a bit. Lets Kenny Kibbe move on up to that 12th position, able to set his sights on the 31 car. A little further ways up in front of him, but gives him a new goal to take a shot at.
Back up front, John Peters going to take one more run at Evan Boiler. Boiler slapped the wall down the back straightaway a couple laps ago to make this battle close because Boiler looked like he had it in hand by about 3 car lengths. Now the 51 flashes that nose again to the inside. The Runtle number 51 trying to take it away from Evan Boiler as they battle for position number 2. Again, great corner entry, thin cuts, just kind of slides around the corner for John Peters, but can't get that inside line working. And if he can get there, if he can get to the door, I don't want to encourage using him up at all, but that might be what you... Oh, he used up the wall. Never mind. Down the back straightaway, the 51 of John Peters loses about a car length or so, but he's not going to quit. Still puts the pressure on the 56.
Not even back to the drawing board, back to the same attack that John Peters was on before. You saw a few laps ago, Timmy. He went all the way up high towards the wall and entry. He was able to get a bit of a run. He shot down low, and as he moved down low, the 56 moved down low with him. So definitely paying attention to the mirror. The number 56 of Evan Boiler is John Peters, and you can see John Peters just still right where he left off, even after taking a little bit of a shot at the wall there. But Evan looked in his mirror and he saw the sparks come off the 51 machine off of the wall there, so he knows the 51, well, he thinks the 51 machine may be hurt. Is that going to let him let his guard down, or is he just going to keep on hammering down trying to defend that second position? Still a 2-second lead now for Ryan Libby up front. Evan Boiler at second, John Peters in third.
And then that battle for position number 4 is kind of separated itself a little bit. Brent Roy is pulled away from Zane Farrell in position number 4 and 5. Corey Casagrande trying to chase down a top 5 run, but the problem is that they're running out of laps. They'll come by this time, complete lap number 67, and see 8 laps to go in this one. So just under 10 laps remaining. Battle for second. John Peters continues to use every piece of this LORP racetrack, and he's got the wall a couple of times, but it hasn't slowed down the 51 that much. Boiler out far enough, just enough to maintain second.
Let's ride on board with John Peters just to see how hard he's wheeling this machine, because you saw him last time by coming out of turns 1 and 2, really almost sideways, just really letting the bottom side drag, letting the back side sway, if you will. And you can see he's down low just a little bit, trying to gain as much position as he can, but as he's doing that on the low side, he keeps losing the back end of the race car, so he's got to really stay up towards that high side. I know it's really, with short track racing, the goal is to be down on the apron, but here at ORP, a little bit different. The high line is where you need to be, and you need to be up against that wall, trying to keep as much momentum in this race car to try and get around the guy in front of you.
He might have used up a little more of his tires in the 56 of Evan Boiler as well. These Grand National cars, lots of power. They used to be the Xfinity or the Nationwide cars here on iRacing. So a little bit of power, a lot of weight, but a lot of power as well. And it looks like John Peters trying to muscle that thing around, and he's losing time to Evan Boiler. So the tires might have given up a little quicker than John Peters wanted to, running that low line and trying to get everything that he could. We'll come by this time and see 4 laps remaining. And Evan Boiler pulling away from John Peters, but up catching Ryan Libby, almost 3 seconds between himself and the leader.
Looks like the champ may very well be settling into that third position. Live to fight another battle here. There you can see Brent Roy solidly in that 4th spot. Zane Farrell 5th. Corey Casagrande, Dylan Kopech, Jason Ricker, Wyatt Alexander, and Charles Lewandowski currently the top 10. Charles Lewandowski, along with Danny O'Quinn, who I don't believe started here this evening. There were actually 2 drivers that were in the very last Xfinity or Busch Series race here at the track. So cool to see some real-life experience kind of transfer over into the sim, over to the NEPS series. So very cool to see that. Charles Lewandowski with Chalu Performance sponsoring the race a few weeks ago here, but 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks up in the air. Ryan Libby with his 3-second lead. All he's got to do is coast easy like Sunday morning, and he's going to come home with a victory. Evan Bullier and John Peters still 2nd and 3rd, and Brent Roy still 4th. Zane Farrell still in that 5th spot.
You always like to have that upper hand on your competitors. Ryan Libby will come by this time and collect the white flag. We mentioned he was the point leader earlier on this evening, but he also has 4 wins, the same amount of wins that John Peters has this season. This will break a tie for the most wins this season in the NEP Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. He'll come up through corner number 4, checkered flag in the wind, and Ryan Libby wins at Indianapolis. Evan Boiler, John Peters, your top 3. Talk to them post-race. Brent Roy and Zane Farrell complete your top 5, but Farrell was challenged at the end by Corey Casagrande.
There you can see it on screen there. That gives the position to Zane Farrell. Corey Casagrande, solid run in the 6th spot. Dylan Kopeck, 7th. Jason Ricker, 8th. Wyatt Alexander, 9th. Charles Lewandowski rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, looking through the second page, Anthony Aiello, Kenny Kibbe rebounded to position number 12, Brandon Uhouse, Matt Shinosky, Matt Kentfield, Mike Hopkins, Scott McDonald, David Root, Kyle Casagrande, Michael Bennett, and Jeffrey Brown complete your field. 21 cars started this evening, and it was all Ryan Libby all night long, pulling away with this one and taking away the victory.
Burning down the tires. There you can see the stat on your screen. 75 laps in the race, 75 laps led there for the 36 machine of Ryan Libby in victory lane one more time, and just waiting for these drivers to kind of gather their thoughts a little bit, hop on out of the race car. We're going to be talking to the top 3 here momentarily, and we're actually going to catch a quick word here. Five-time winner Ryan Libby. Ryan, great race. Led it flag to flag. 75 laps led here in the Kemba the Dog 75 here at ORP. Burning those tires down. Talk us through that race.
Yeah, I kind of knew this race, the track position was going to be key here. It's really hard to pass. It's kind of like even though it's a really wide track, it's probably like one of the few one-lane tracks here. So seems like the outside's where you want to be here. The caution flew at the right time, just about halfway through. I kind of figured everyone was going to pit. Tires did matter. I think it fell off about 0.4 of a second there over our long run there. But it's never easy in this league. You got Evan and John Peters and Brent Roy and all those guys up there, Kenny Kibbe. I mean, it's really, really a competitive league, and you got to be on your A game every single lap. It's definitely not easy. Even being out front, you're constantly looking in the mirror. You're constantly looking at the relatives, seeing where you're gaining, where you're losing, and all that. So the main strategy tonight was just starting a pole and lead every lap and just bring it home, and that's what we did tonight. And just want to thank everyone, NEP Shift and you guys for broadcasting also.
Making it look absolutely easy. And in the interview, all I had to do was qualify on the pole, lead all the laps, win the race. No big deal. But definitely a championship run here for the 46 machine, giving the champ John Peters a run for his money. We got about half of the season done, half of the season to go. We got the Super Trucks race kicking up tomorrow. Is that Super Truck Series going to take any of the focus off the Grand National Series here, or do you still have enough time to kind of practice and prepare for both of these series? As going to be running Thursday and Friday shows here pretty much for the next month, maybe 2 months here on Vidane TV.
I'm taking the same side as what John Peters said last week. My main focus is here. We're leading the points right now, and the Truck Series is kind of like a little fun league. Still going to take it serious, but it's more of like a laid back where, okay, if I have a bad run, okay, you know what I mean? Just kind of move on with it. So I think Fridays are going to be more of just kind of like the fun night, and all the concentration will kind of go here on this.
Well, you had a hell of a run here tonight. Congratulations on yet another victory here in the NEPS Grand National Series, brought to you by Shift Marketing and Design. And another Vidane TV win here. Lots of logos on that 46 car. Who makes it happen, and who gets Ryan Libby to and from the racetrack?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Phillips 66 again, and Actually, I think who put this race on?
Kemba the Dog, 75. Kyle Casagrande's dog sponsored this race.
Ah, all right. Well, I thank Kyle Casagrande's dog for sponsoring the race, and of course, Vidane Broadcasting. Like I said, you guys do a great job every week, and I watch some of your other broadcasts too, and you guys are probably the best on iRacing. So, you guys do a great job, and I just want to thank everyone in the league. Also, it's a great bunch of guys to actually race here, so it's really a good time.
Hey, that's why we do it here at Vidane TV, always trying to entertain the masses. And entertain the masses, he did. Ryan Libby, great run here. Another victory here in the NEPS Grand National Series. Congratulations. Now, Tim, I believe you caught up with Nitro 56 himself. Evan Bullier in the 56 machine came home P2.
It was a great run for this 56 car. Evan, talk about how critical that restart was to try to get ahead of John Peters. And that battle with John Peters, what was the edge that got you up in the second place spot?
We just got a good launch off of 4 there. I knew that was going to be critical. Had to stick on the outside, and once I got my fender in there, John almost had me cleared, and we drove it in. I knew I had to stay on the outside of him, keep a fender up there, and John always races me clean, and I would have done the same with him. And you know, that's how it goes here. We knew the whole run before that. I was racing behind him and Brent, and none of us could really do much, but it was a ton of fun regardless. But I just, you knew on that restart you had to go because it was going to get strung out, or it was just so hard to pass.
I was going to ask you to the point of fun. You guys are in the same Discord channel. You're both from the state of Maine. So how was the mood during that battle at the end?
Oh, we were having a ton of fun. Obviously at the end, John really wanted to get by. He's got a points battle with Libby, but we're all competitors at the end of the day, and but it's still a lot of fun. We still race each other clean, and like I said, I'm really proud of our buddy Brent. Our buddy Brent, we've been nicknaming him a qualifying master, and he was finally able to put the whole race together tonight. I was really proud of him too, and us three had a really good race throughout the first half of that. And just want to say also, next weekend for the iRacing Daytona 24, us three, me, him, and John, and Wyatt Alexander, we're all going to attempt it to the whole 24 hours. So we've been spending a lot of time together virtually a lot of time together lately.
He says he's a pretty good road racer, so how good of a road racer is he?
Who's that, Brent or John?
Brent.
Which one?
Well, both, but Brent says he's a pretty good road racer, so how good of a road racer is he?
I'll tell you what, he is a sneaky good road racer, and especially this past week, I don't think anybody's put in any more practice laps than him. He'll be messaging our group just in the most random times of the day or night, saying, hey, I just did this, hey, I'm trying to learn more about this car, what it does here, and that's good to know throughout the, our progression. This will be our first long endurance race, and who knows what we're really getting into, so it's good to have that.
So don't teach them everything you know, because we do have Sonoma coming up in the series in a couple of weeks, right?
That is correct. We're gonna need to keep on our toes in that race, and also for the Super Truck Series, I picked Canadian Tire Motorsports part. Not that track. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, in Montreal, to run the Super Trucks at. Just they give us hopefully a little more of an advantage in that series too.
You got a lot of great sponsors on this race car. Beautiful looking race car here this evening as well. Who would you like to thank for this run?
Well, thank you. I forgot to change back to my throwback Robbie Harrison paint scheme. We got our, I guess it's a throwback. It's last year's super late model paint scheme for us. But I got to thank Hancock Lumber, Restorations, Home Remodeling, Nitro Designs, Bollier Construction, my wife's new business, LB Cleaning Company. I'm really proud of her. She's gone out on her own this year. I thank her. She's going to be paying the tire bill this year. She just doesn't know it. And Amsoil 4 Seasons Synthetic, S&B Foundations, Bonafide Builders. We've got a lot of great partners on our super late model.
That's Evan Boiler coming home position number 2 here this evening. And Paul, I believe you've caught up with his teammate, the champ, John Peters, coming home position number 3.
The champ is here. Another Mania, the 51 car, John Peters. We saw you stuck in that third position all race long, trying to get around Brent after the first green flag run, and then trying to get around your teammate there. Well, your other teammate, Evan Bullier, there in the 56 machine. Man, talk us through the race.
Yeah, good race, John.
Yeah, good race, Evan. I'm worn out, Paul. Tell you what, man. I felt like I was trying to make a pass on the bottom for 75 laps tonight. And at this track, that's about as fun as filing your taxes. Didn't you just kind of got the short end of the stick on track position and found myself on the bottom. I think every single restart that we had tonight, which is just really tough. And I didn't want to squeeze anybody up into the fence and cause any calamities trying to get to the top. So I did what I could. Last run there, I burned up my tires after about 20 laps of trying to hound Evan, and just kind of finished off in third. Figured I might as well not make this any worse and hit the wall or anything, so we came home third. But congrats to Ryan on his win, and a pretty good race in the top 3 all night long.
Lost a couple of points to the points leader, Ryan Libby, but still not a bad points day, coming home in the podium with a P3. Started third, finished third, so definitely a decent run here for the 51 machine. What have we got going on for the real racing schedule here in 2021 for John Peters?
Good question. I'm not too sure yet. We're going to figure some things out hopefully in the next few weeks or month or so. But we'll try to get back to what we intended to do last year before COVID blew everything to shreds, and probably do 7 or 8 races, past races, Granite State Pro Stock Series up in Maine, New Hampshire, and might make a trip down to Hickory, North Carolina. But that's all TBD at the moment. We'll see how things shake out over the next few weeks and hope to get a firm schedule from there. But lots of NEP racing left to go too, so we'll get that out of the way first.
For sure, and we've been asking everybody with the Super Truck Series. You guys had the first race of the season back on New Year's Day. I was hungover, so we didn't cover the race here on Vidane TV, but picking up with race number 2 tomorrow night. Does the Super Truck Series take any of the focus off of this Grand National Series, or are we pretty much 50-50? What's the deal with that?
I was just trying to focus on this series mostly for practice and stuff like that, and then kind of showing up on race night here on Friday nights with the Super Truck Series, and we kind of see what we get. Tomorrow night is USA with the trucks, so that'll be like racing F1 cars in a shoebox. So we'll see what happens. Should be pretty fun. I think the viewers of Vidane TV will get a kick out of that.
Absolutely, and we're all about entertaining the masses here on Vidane TV. A lot of sponsors on that run till number 51. Who gets it done for the champ? John Peters.
Yeah, you named it. Starts with Runnel, and then Libby Septic, Four Seasons Synthetic, Turn 4 Automotive, Digby's Variety. Thanks, Kemba the Dog. What a good boy sponsoring the race tonight. Thanks to Vidane, NEP, Shift, all you guys for putting this on, Paul and Tim. Good to chat with you after these races.
What about your dog? Isn't he a good boy? You thank him every single interview, John, and you missed him this week.
See, Paul, this is why I do that, so you catch it and remind me. Thanks to my dog for letting me do this, and my girlfriend for letting me do this as well. I couldn't do it without the apartment support here.
Solid P3 start and finish here for John Peters. Congratulations on another good run.
Thanks, guys.
So that's going to wrap it up. The top 3 there, Tim. Good racing here at ORP for the NEPS Grand National Series, brought to you by Shift Marketing and Design. Final thoughts.
Exciting race always is with the NEP guys. A lot of respect, especially in some of those battles up near the front of the field. And looking forward to the next race and the remaining 6 races in this season to close off this championship. Ryan Libby has control, but it takes one small slip to let John Peters and Kenny Kibbe back in the game. But we're not done with NEP. Coming up tomorrow night, as you mentioned, the trucks are on the racetrack.
Yes, sir. Super Trucks tomorrow night. Very excited to check that out. It's kind of a team aspect deal. Made mention a couple of times. We've seen the draft here on Vidane TV just a few weeks ago, toward the end of December there, and really excited to actually take a look at some of the action Saturday night. The Sim 500 Vidane Racing Super Speedway Series going to be kicking off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, getting ready to crown a champion. We're getting ready to set up the playoffs to crown a champion, and we just announced Stafford Motor Speedway Vidane Racing Championship Night with Rent-A-Race Car is going to be on June 11th, Friday night. We're going to have Jarrett Bolliard, the last champion of the Vidane Racing Series, who didn't make it to the track to claim his rental, and this year's champion as well, going to be out there running in a street stock at Stafford Motor Speedway, courtesy of Rent-A-Race Car as well. So we're going to have a lot of fun, because the very next night is going to be the SRX kickoff race with Tony Stewart's and Ray Evernham's league. Very first inaugural race there at Stafford Motor Speedway, so we're going to be hanging out and drinking some ice cold beers that weekend, grilling out, freaking out, and hanging out, doing a lot of interviews. And you'll be able to catch a lot of that action live on the Vidane TV Facebook page. We're going to be going live pretty much all weekend long. So very excited for that. Next Tuesday, the RBR Maritime Group comes back for season number 3. Going to be seeing some single car qualifying. We do have to figure out exactly what time we're going to be starting that deal. So we're going to call it 7:30 p.m. Eastern time right now, but that may very well change. And next Wednesday night, Tim Scoter Motorsports, the weekly racing series there at Oxford Plains Speedway, kicks off 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And after that, the Showtime Cup series at 9:15. So lots of racing coming up here on Vidane TV. Man, we've made mention a couple of times here in the past few weeks that 4 races a week minimum all the way throughout the month of May here at Vidane TV. So very excited, very thankful for all of the leagues that have come on board, and we definitely couldn't have done it without all the fans that are out there watching here this evening. So we do appreciate everybody that's out there. Once this race broadcast is done, if you can do us a huge favor, just hit the share button a couple of times. Let your friends know that you watched some great iRacing action here on Vidane TV, and let them know that you were entertained as well. Because that's pretty much our goal here, Tim, is to entertain the masses. And with these NEPS guys, we really almost do that every single week.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are always putting on a great show, great group of drivers. And you talk to Evan and John, and they're having fun back and forth in these battles. There's no real animosity, I guess, is what you see with some of these other leagues. But great to see it. Looking forward to the next one, and looking forward to see who can, maybe top that 46 car. He's now leading the win chart in the Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Tour.
Absolutely, and don't tell those guys too loud. We're not going to cover the entire 24-hour race, but we may very well have some of that 24-hour race coverage here on Vidane TV for those Maynard guys, the NEPS guys. They've been real good to us, so I think we owe it to them to maybe give them a couple of hours of coverage here on Vidane TV, maybe kind of hang out, have a couple of brewskis, and watch those guys compete in the iRacing 24-hour race, because I think that'd be kind of neat. But we'll play that one by ear. Definitely pay attention to the Vidane TV Twitter and Facebook, all the social media accounts over on YouTube as well. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Easy enough for me to say. And give us a quick share. It means the world to us, and it actually helps us out quite a bit. And we don't have the Twitch anymore for Vidane Racing, but you can follow myself personally over on Twitch, Strictly94. So that's going to do it here for tonight. ORP, Kemba the Dog 75, race winner, points leader, Ryan Libby, coming home with a great race here tonight. Evan Bullier second, and John Peters rounding out the top 3. We got some NEPS Super Truck action tomorrow night. That's going to be a blast. It's pretty much been described as F1 cars in a shoebox. So if you were entertained tonight, be sure to come back tomorrow night. We're going to be entertained one mo again with the NEPS Super Truck Series right here live on Vidane TV. We'll catch you then, and when we do, we're going to be doing it live.